Part 2 of Chapter 3. Charlie sat in a trance. Oh, I already read that. Hold on. "Now for my hat," said the art teacher. One of her stick arms now reached up to remove the floppy blue hat. Here was a bigger surprise, for the woman's head was as round and flat as a tiddlywink. Do you know what a tiddlywink is? I don't either. Let's keep going and see if we can figure it out. We'll think while we read. Her hair was nothing more than two enormous curls draping down the sides. Two black dots served for eyes and a bigger dot for a nose. Stretching from one side of the circle head to the other was a long, thin U of a smile that looked so jolly it was impossible to imagine it ever turning upside down. Last of all, Miss Tra-la-la removed her red coat. Now it was clear what type of person she was. "You're a stick woman," said Charlie. "That is correct, young man," said Miss Tra-la-la. "A stick woman I am." "Why, I drew stick people when I was in kindergarten," said Charlie. "I never imagined they really existed." Naturally, the appearance of a stick woman in front of the flabbergasted class released a flood of questions. "Are there many stick people like you in the world?" asked Emily. "Oh, many, many," answered the art teacher. "Stick people come in many different shapes and sizes. Beautiful pictures of us appear in every elementary school and on many refrigerator doors." "But where do all the stick people live?" asked Rosalie. "I've never seen a real stick person before." "Have you?" Miss Tra-la-la strutted up and down the aisles of desks, passing out white construction paper. "Oh, well, none of us live in the city," she answered. "We live in the sticks." As Miss Tra-la-la waddled by, Charlie had a closer look at her stick figure. Perhaps the most remarkable thing about the new art teacher was that her entire body was no thicker than the paper she was passing out. If you looked at her sideways, she almost disappeared. You would think that the slightest breeze would have sent her flying up to the lights like a kite. But no, she made her way up and down the rows of desks, sturdy and erect upon those big boat feet of hers. When everyone had drawing paper, Miss Tra-la-la waved her antenna arms into the air. "Okay, folks, start drawing," she called out. "It's time. Feel free to use a crayon to color me any color you choose." Then she stepped up onto the teacher's desk, stuck her stick arms and fingers straight out, and stood perfectly still. At first, Charlie did what he usually did when a blank sheet of drawing paper lay in front of him. He stared at it. He twirled his pencil in his fingers and stared at the paper some more. This time, however, something was different. Not only was his stomach quiet, but after studying the stick woman posing on the teacher's desk, he thought, maybe I can draw that person. Maybe I will give it a try. With a firm grip on his pencil, Charlie started to sketch. In the center of his paper, he drew a circle for the stick lady's body. Next, he tackled her head, adding the two dot eyes, dot nose, U-shaped mouth, and curls of her hair. Charlie sat back in his chair to study his drawing. "Drat," he mumbled. "My head looks more like an egg. It's not the shape of Miss Tra-la-la's head." Yet when he glanced at Miss Tra-la-la again, she had changed. Her head was now egg-shaped, precisely the shape Charlie had drawn it. "Not bad. Not bad at all," he said, admiring his artwork. "Maybe I can do this. Maybe I can draw this person." With more confidence, he added the lady's stick arms and stick legs and stick fingers and big pickle feet. Now Charlie said to himself, "I wonder what would happen if I drew giant ears on the head." He did it, and sure enough, the stick lady posed on the teacher's desk now displayed the very jumbo ears Charlie had drawn on his paper. They must have been huge, like this. "Young man," Miss Tra-la-la scolded, "it's grand that you are exploring new ideas in your art. However, it's embarrassing to be standing up here with these elephant ears." Quickly, Charlie erased the offending ears and sat admiring his finished drawing. Miss Tra-la-la lowered her arms, wiggled her fingers, and stepped down from the teacher's desk. "Lovely, lovely, lovely. she said, wandering up and down the rows of desks, admiring each picture. Back at the teacher's desk, Miss Tralala announced, "Okay, folks, for our second picture, we shall draw an animal. I'll be back in a jiffy." And she sailed out of the classroom. Spurt, squeak, pop, grrr, peep, peep, grrr. Charlie's stomach started to erupt again. "An animal," he grumbled. "Just when I was beginning to get the hang of drawing people, I have to draw an animal. Maybe I can hide in the coat closet. Maybe I can ask to go to the boys' room and never come back." Miss Tralala returned to the classroom lugging a large cardboard box. Here she is with her large cardboard box. "Now, folks, some of you might think drawing animals is difficult," she said, placing her load on the teacher's desk, "but wait until you see my pet." The art teacher opened the box. Out trotted an animal that Charlie at once recognized as a stick dog. This curious creature had a long, hot dog-shaped body with 4 stick legs jutting out from the bottom and a shorter hot dog head with floppy ears. When it opened its mouth, 2 written words, "Arf, arf," floated upward and hung in the air. "That's how cartoon dogs talk," Charlie noted. "Miss Tralala's pet is like a cartoon. It's easy to draw cartoons." Like its owner, the stick dog was flat. When it wagged its wiry tail, its entire body flapped like a flag. But when it lay on the desk, the dog was impossible to see at all. Miss Tralala passed out more paper. "Okay, folks, you can start drawing," she said. "Up, doggy," she called to her stick pet. "Now stand perfectly still for these children so they can draw you." At once, Charlie made a long oval on his paper. He added a shorter oval to one end. "Maybe drawing this dog is as easy as drawing Miss Tralala," he said to himself. "Maybe I'm not such a bad drawer after all." At 2 o'clock, Miss Tralala packed her dog back in its box. "Okay, folks, that is all the art for this week," she said. "But before I leave, I must hang up your masterpieces for exhibition." And she flounced from desk to desk, collecting the drawings. "Lovely, lovely, lovely," she sang out while pinning each picture up on the bulletin board. "Oh, look at this one. That's me to a T. Look at this and this and this. Lovely, lovely, lovely." Charlie could have sworn the art teacher's dot eyes opened and shut in a wink when she picked up his 2 pictures. "Lovely, lovely, lovely," she said, holding the pictures out at stick arm's length. "Very original. Very avant-garde. These belong in a museum." When all the pictures were hung, the art teacher put on her wraps. It took her a full minute. On went the red coat, the yellow boots, and the white gloves. After she covered her head with the floppy blue hat, it was completely impossible to tell that she was a stick woman. Next Friday, folks, if you feel comfortable with what you drew today, we shall draw some more things, Miss Tralala said, strutting toward the door. "I shall bring in some photographs of my house and yard out in the sticks. We can practice drawing buildings and trees." Toodaloo! And she was gone. While waiting for the tall teacher to return to the classroom, Charlie admired his drawings pinned up in the middle of the bulletin board. "Maybe I'm not such a bad artist after all," he said to himself. "Maybe next Friday I'll draw a harder drawing." And as he thought about how his drawing would be, his stomach remained silent.